Come on, let's get nuts.
Hey, yo, what is happening, everybody? It is Wednesday. It is hump day. Let's get the humping. Hopefully, you guys are doing good. Let's talk about some movie things. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff. Share it. Follow on all the sock meds that are around me. Of course, there's Vero. There is Facebook. I kind of stopped posting on Facebook. I should probably get rid of that because Facebook sucks. It does. But, I got Instagram. I got the Twitters, which is now not even that. I should probably update my border, to be honest, because the logos have changed. But, of course, you got the Patreon. The Patreon actually recorded a podcast last night. I haven't posted it yet, but that's going to be up for all you patrons right there. But, yes, guys, welcome to Film Junkee Live. It is Wine Wednesday, so cheers. Nothing like that after a day. Yeah. Got the new job, and now it's like, all right, I'm getting the thick of it. So it's like, oh yeah, things are, can get a little frustrating, but we're all good. Still, everything's all good when it comes to that. So, all right, how we doing out there? Whoops, let's see who's out there. We got Eric right here. So Quentin back to the drawing board. Well, Hateful Eight was temporarily axed still. What kind of plot could be written about movie criticism? It's going to be interesting. We got Miss Lisa Jackson, who is there. We are all here. Ahoy, ahoy, Mr. Jason McKenzie. Always great to see you, buddy. All right. And then we got Ryan, of course. We got Mr. Fear Jason right here. Always great to see you, buddy. All right, there goes the opening music. We got Mr. Baga right here. What is happening? Are we thinking that Ma and Pa Kent will be alive, or will one of or both pass away? See, that is the question when we're going to be talking about this too. And I don't know. You read things online, but who knows what is actually truthful? It is online. We got Tet. Good to see you, Tet. How's that short film coming? Let me know. Shane, what's happening? Happy Wednesday. Woo. Hey, we got Vanimation Films right here. I haven't seen you in the chat in a little bit. Good to see you. All right. So, that's nice. Oh, and then, of course, we got W Games. I hope the critics like the Scargiver because the anti-Snyder haters are going to use that against him. Well, no matter what, they're going to. Anybody who does not like Zack Snyder and who did not like the first Rebel Moon will most likely shit on this one too. Wouldn't be surprised. The only hope that we can have is that the director's cuts change some minds, I guess. And again, we're trying to just kind of wonder, like, what is actually, the strategy when it comes to all this, we're kind of seeing, like, what's going to be the outcome when it comes to that. I don't know. You know what? 3-Body Problem, that's on my list right now. Again, I'm trying to get through Shogun. I'm watching Shogun, and I know the season finale is like coming up, so I'm like, okay, Shogun first, and then I'm going to get to probably this show because I keep hearing, and I saw a clip that really intrigued me when it came to this show right here. So yeah, that's going to be happening. We got Jeffrey right here. What's going on? In my opinion, Ma and Pa Kent should both be alive just like they did in Lois and Clark. You know what? That's one of the things that I really loved about Lois and Clark was the fact that he would phone home to his parents and they'd both be on the line. This is back in the 90s. No cell phones anywhere. This was landlines, but they'd both be on the phone talking to Clark. There was a cool little, and then, obviously he would visit them too. So it is going to be interesting. I think we'll talk about it. What's going on, Marvel Man? Good to see you. Long time, long hiatus. Good to be back. Yes. Just in time for Rebel Moon Part 2. And it's almost time, guys. And like I said, this This Friday, we're going to be just talking about it. Make sure you guys watch it. If you're going to be clicking in on the vodka stream, we're going to be just spoilers galore and everything. I posted my first reaction review. I was going to post it yesterday, but I ended up posting it today. I held off a little bit because I was trying to post other things. So I posted my first reaction review because, it was like that whole thing where it's like, I could have posted it probably last Friday, but because when I was talking to people, I'm like, all right, so can I post this or not? Because embargoes and stuff like that, but, there was no, I didn't have to sign an NDA. I don't know. I'm not part of I don't know. They didn't even address anything with that. And not to mention, when it comes to my full-on, it's just a first reaction. I don't go into detail. I talk about little things, but if you watch it, it's like a little bit over 2 minutes, and I don't really talk much about it. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm in the clear when it comes to that. So watch the first reaction review. It seems like people are of course watching it, and I'll give my full review on the vodka stream, opening the vodka stream on Friday, and hopefully, Friday will be great. We're gonna be pushing, of course, William, Sci-Fi Center, and subscribe to his channel. He streams all the time. He's been pushing his charity stream, which Zack, a while back, did retweet and posted his link and everything. So he's trying to get to 15,000, 15,000 when it comes to his charity. So we're going to try to get to that 15,000 this weekend. So we're going to be pushing that, and maybe some surprise guests could come on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to be talking a lot. We're going to be talking about a lot of Rebel Moon when it comes to Friday's stream. So make sure you guys watch it before you tune in. And thank you, Lisa, for gifting Jay. Looks like Jay is going to be a new member. Yes, we'll be doing a members only stream after this. Hopefully not like last Wednesday, where I'm telling you guys, it's been interesting when it comes to my streams, because last Wednesday, if you guys were here, or if you guys saw and was like, why is it only a half an hour? Because some reason it cut off. I don't know what happened, but it cut off, and I didn't know until 20 minutes after. So luckily, I was able to just hey, well, this is what I talked about in those 20 minutes, and I can post it as a video, because I had no idea, and it was crazy. And then on Monday's show was blocked for almost 24 hours. That's right. So Monday's show was almost 24 hours, almost 24 hours that it was blocked, because I showed the Saturday Night Live clips. Remember, the whole Ryan Gosling thing, and I talked about that because I thought it was great. I thought his opening monologue was great. And then, of course, that Beavis and Butthead sketch, I showed a little bit of that. Didn't show all of it, but yeah. All of a sudden, I get the message yeah, your stream is blocked because you showed this. NBC Universal, they're not, obviously copyright and blah, blah, blah. Didn't get a copyright strike, but they blocked the entire stream. And then, of course, I put my dispute in, and I'm like, hey, fair use, guys. Didn't show the whole thing, just showed clips, praised the whole thing. Come on. And luckily earlier today, the stream is back up. They released the whole thing. They were like, all right, we're good. Sorry. So thank you, NBC Universal. Because sometimes, especially you, Warner Brothers, it's like Warner Brothers, when it comes to when you show anything that's Warner Brothers, and we get this all the time when it comes to DC Fanimated, because we always show clips of the episode we're talking about when it comes to the animated universe of DC. They always, I always get a copyright thing, but it's never like a copyright strike. I haven't got a copyright strike in a while. I'm like, knock on wood, guys. I don't get a copyright strike. It's been a while since I got a copyright strike, but I get the copyright, okay, yeah, any money you make on this video or stream, yeah, we're just going to take it, which is bullshit when you know about fair use copyright guidelines. Yeah, it's still pretty flawed, but so usually it's just and even times where I've had streams blocked or videos blocked because I showed some things and I disputed, sometimes they'll come back and be like, okay, yeah, we're going to unblock it, but any kind of monetization you got, it's not going to go to you, it's going to go to them. But luckily, NBC Universal, I guess, they were like, oh yeah, you're good. Keep whatever, promote, I think they were like, it's just like, okay. But yeah, for like almost 24 hours, they, the stream was, on Monday was blocked. So anybody who was trying to watch it, I apologize. But yeah, you know what? I still have not watched it yet. That's on the list. I'm trying to get through Shogun first, and then I have to reactivate my Disney Plus, So what's going on, Game City Savior? Why he always picks these boring pork rind munching looking people. So you're talking about... Okay, so you're one of those that thinks, okay, and I have a theory, because you're probably talking about Jonathan and Martha Kent, two characters that are probably going to be in the movie for 6 minutes. Yeah, okay. We'll get to it. It's kind of funny. What's going on, RJ? Good to see you, buddy. All right. Yeah, all right. But like I said, it's Wine Wednesday. Anyways, all right. Let's go ahead and get to some tweets right here and see what was happening in the world of Twitter. And we're going to, of course, start with some Zack Snyder right here. And basically, okay, so Zack Snyder talking about, obviously part of filmmaking has to do with the score, with the music. That's very much when you're trying to really just show, especially action sequences and a lot of things that are happening. You want to have, I always wonder, and I love that shot when it came to Zack, Christopher Nolan, Hans Zimmer, when they were in like the room and for Man of Steel, and they were like showing just that shot where it's like, yeah, you're trying to like fit. And we've seen so many videos with directors and the composer trying to like, okay, we're trying to create something here. I mean, the composer is so important when it comes to a film, and even like the needle drops are very important too when it comes to a film as well. But yeah, here's Zack Snyder talking about, music and his movies and everything. So check this out.
I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit about that, because there's a really nice musicality to all of your films.
Yeah, I just think music is such a powerful tool in filmmaking, and I've been super inspired by music throughout my career. I was like, make a mixtape or whatever before I shoot, and I give sometimes I'll burn a DVD and give it to the or a CD and give it to the crew and be like, oh, listen to this. This get you inspired. And they're like, this is in the movie? I'm like, no, it's not in the movie, but it just gets you inspired. And so, yeah, it's just fun. I just think music plays such an important part. And so, yeah. And I have such a great relationship with Junkee, who did the score for the movie, and Rose Betts, who wrote a couple songs. So, yeah, it's really just music is a big and cool part of the movie for me.
I was just wondering.
Yes, music is... Whoop, I'm going to turn that off. Music is just, it helps with the cinematic language. It really does. It sets the tone. I watched The Social Network last weekend, and David Fincher, you have somebody like, Trent Reznor and Atticus, what's his name, that added to the score of that movie, which it's a movie about Mark Zuckerberg and developing Facebook. And you have David Fincher, who has a tone, but then you add the score from those guys to it, and it just takes it to a whole other level. And that's what makes that film so unique. So unique. It's like, again, it's just like the Oppenheimer thing. It's like anybody else could have approached that story, that whole kind of not really a biopic, but it's it's something. It's kind of a biopic. And they could have just done a generic kind of story, but obviously David Fincher being David Fincher, but then you add that score, and you hear that Trent Reznor and that, you just hear that. I mean, it's just, there's something that adds to all that. You feel it. You feel it. And I'm like, that was one of the things that I'm like, that I love about The Social Network is the score. It's that freaking score, man. All right. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this a little bit. It's not even movie related, but I just want to like rant. I just kind of want to rant off a little bit about it, but at the same time, it's just because it's so where we're at right now when it comes to the economy, and I've talked about this, but you can really judge like how, wow, Jesus Christ, here we are now in 2024, the economy, and just things that you think about, because especially when, you go back and think, I think about like in my 20s and my early 30s and stuff like that, where you're just kind of going like, all right, nowadays I just kind of do this whole thing where I'm like, all right, when it comes to food and it comes to a lot of things, you kind of go like, whoa, shit's expensive now because of inflation and everything like that. And, Subway used to be a place where you go like, remember $5 footlongs? $5 footlongs, you get a footlong, a footlong sandwich, 12 inches, sandwich, $5. Well, here we are now, 6 inches for $6. That's right. That's going to be the title of my OnlyFans page. Zing. All right. That would be kind of funny, right? I'm going to label my OnlyFans page 6 inches for $6. Anyways, all right. So jokes aside, but it's just kind of like crazy where it's like, what? Like, I was like, I didn't even realize. I was like, holy shit. Cause I haven't been to Subway in forever. And I was like, man, I remember the $5 footlongs, man, the $5 footlongs. And all of a sudden now it's $1 more just to get half that sandwich. I mean, of course, yeah, the $5 footlong thing was probably like a decade ago, but it just shows you like, it's like, so what's going to happen next? We're going to get half of that for what? $8, $9? We're going to get like, hey, you could get a 3-incher for $9, 3-inch sandwich. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy. And a lot of people just go like, this is why I tell you what, guys, especially this year with a lot of things that have happened this year for me, it's like, I've really taken the approach of like, yeah, I'm not going out and getting food anymore when it comes to fast food. A lot of places, like, yeah, every now and again, but man, I'm just like, I go to the grocery store and I have a specific grocery store that I go to, and luckily they have their own like food, so they don't have to like mark up a lot of things. And it's, I try to get the healthy kind of food, like the more you ignore the processed bullshit and try to get like, hey, the food that's not fucked with as much. And I just find myself, I used to be like, oh yeah, man, I know I'll eat healthy during the week, and then on the weekends, whatever. It's like, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. I don't do that anymore. Now I'm just like, yeah, I'm telling you, some people just think like, okay, I'm just going to eat this right here or eat that right there. It's cheap, but it just seems like nowadays things are just so freaking expensive now that I'm like, yeah, why would I want to do that? I can make your own shit. If you actually go out and get what would actually be in one of these sandwiches, it would be half. If you just actually take the time to do it. But the fact of the matter is, we're lazy. We're human beings, We're all lazy. But I just saw that and went, man, that's the new deal right now with Subway? It was like $5 footlongs. That was such a catchy phrase. Now it's 6 inches for $6. Yeah, my porno name. Anyways, okay. Oh, then we got this. Oh boy. I'm going to have to take a little sip of my wine with this. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I've ranted a little bit. I've ranted before about this particular subject when it comes to the movie biz. And it's one of those things where I'm just kind of going like, can we stop this? Can we stop this? Because it's just turning into a weirdo freak show thing, and it doesn't move the needle at all when it comes to these movies. It doesn't really do anything. But red carpets, when it comes to premieres, can we stop it with all the fucking costumes? Like it's like you're walking into a Halloween party. Can we stop doing this? Because red carpets are just very strange. It can be very strange because it's usually like, when it comes to like the actresses, mainly, because usually the dudes are just wearing a suit and they just stick their hand in the pocket and they pose. But man, when it comes to the actresses, I mean, and of course, naturally, when it comes to fashion, the actresses are always going to be like, hey, we're going to pay you to wear some kind of crazy dress. And that's what happened when it came to Zendaya and her new movie, The Challengers. What the fuck is this dress? I mean, what the hell? It's Zendaya, look over here, Zendaya, I need a picture. And they're like, the dress weighs more than her, okay? That whole dress weighs more than her. And it's just like, what the fuck? I mean, it just was so, I was like, what? She has to have an entire crew to help her with her dress. She can't walk around properly in that dress. It doesn't even make sense. What the hell's going on there? I don't know. I don't get it. How does that do anything? I mean, I guess like when it comes to the fashion designer that's supposed to get exposure, but like who in their right mind would want to wear something like that? Who'd want to do that? It's insane. And to be honest, I'm like, why do mainly actresses, because they're the ones that have to wear these things, why do they agree with it? Do you really need to wear something like that? I mean, obviously, if she's going to sit down and watch the movie, and maybe she's one of those actors that doesn't watch herself or whatever the hell, but like, obviously she can't sit in her chair, so they would have to like alter the whole thing. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand it. Who knows? I mean, I guess because we're talking about it, but it gets more eyes on it. But at the same time, I don't really have any desire to see her movie, even though I'm bitching about this whole thing right now. Like that whole Challengers movie, I'm like, yeah, I have really no desire to see it. I'm like, okay, it's about Zendaya and she has a threesome. Okay, and she's a tennis player. Cool. I don't know. I have no desire. I feel sorry for Tom Holland, but but at the same time, I'm one of those that I'm like, I just never like, oh yeah, Zendaya, and like, I just never saw her as like this crazy it girl. I don't know. That's just me. I just never did. But yeah, I just always kind of wonder about all that. But hey, man, you know, if you're a Zendaya fan, totally fine. I've never seen the appeal. I just have not seen the appeal yet. I have yet. Maybe if I get around to watching this movie, I could see the appeal, but I have yet to see the appeal. Sorry about that, but you know, I'm like, I don't know. Like, again, the dress weighs more than her. She probably weighs. I made the joke, I think with the first Dune, or maybe with the latest Dune, like her and Timothée Chalamet, because, you know, they're both so skinny. I'm like, yeah, they both have a combined weight of 98 pounds. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, and I'm still warming up to Timothée Chalamet, but I will say that Dune Part 2, and even for Dune Part 2 has lifted me up. When it comes to both Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, I will say that after Dune Part 2, yes, I've gone up a notch, gone up a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, these two, okay, good. These two too, but eat a sandwich. You can afford the $6 for 6 inches, right? For Subway. Yeah. You can eat those all the time. You can afford that. I'm just saying. Anyways, okay. Enough of that. Oh, you guys see this bullshit right here? Oh, man. So we got this BS right here when Sam Raimi, we all we heard rumors and we heard things, and even him talking about it when it comes to, hey, if he was going to do another Spider-Man, he would want to do Spider-Man 4, not with Tom Holland, but with Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire. Why not do it like that? But according to this rumor right here, this is World of Real, which apparently they post a lot of bullshit. Sam Raimi is rumored to have had talks with Marvel Studios about directing the next Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland. Not quite the Spider-Man 4 movie that we want. We want Tobey and him to do something like that. And again, I think that's more of a Sony thing, if anything. I don't know. It's a bullshit rumor. I wouldn't even like, who knows? He's still involved. He's still in talks. I mean, some people were even saying that he might do Secret Wars. And I was like, well, that would be interesting if he did. I'm all for Sam Raimi, man. But I don't think that's actually going to be happening for sure. Oh, but this is happening right there. Oh, Steven Spielberg? Aliens? Yeah. Sign me the fuck up. Steven Spielberg's next film is reportedly set to be a UFO filmed based on his own original idea. David Coep is writing the screenplay. Yes, frickin' please. Because anytime that, off the top of my head, when it comes to Close Encounters of the Third Kind and even War of the Worlds, which I don't care what anyone says, War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise running away, obviously running, we love that. But Tom Cruise, yes, his remake of War of the Worlds is excellent. I don't care what anybody says. It's excellent. So if he's going to tackle some alien kind of stuff, or if this is just going to be some kind of UFO conspiracy kind of thing, I'm all for it. I almost said Tim. That's where my brain is right now. But Steven Spielberg, if you're going to do something like this, please let this happen. Oh yeah, E.T. That's right, E.T. What am I thinking? So he's already had movies. I always forget about E.T. E.T.'s there too. So yes, Steven Spielberg, please come back to the alien genre. You have not missed with your alien genre movies. With those 3 movies, you have not missed. So we'll see if that actually happens, but hopefully it does. Hopefully it does. So Martin Scorsese is going to be directing a movie apparently, and it's just like, okay, I mean, it's weird because I am excited for this movie, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, does he have to be the star of everything? I mean, I get it. It's Leo DiCaprio, but at the same time, I'm like, really? Really, we're going to have him as Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra. All right. So Leo is going to be Frank Sinatra in the biopic that's going to be directed by Martin Scorsese. Jennifer Lawrence will play his wife, Ava Gardner. I don't know, just sometimes I'm like going like, all right, Leo again, can we get somebody else? Because can we get somebody that actually can sing like Frank Sinatra? Fly me, come on, can we get somebody, because Leo I don't think can sing. I don't know, it just seems like that's like the easy approach. Marty Scorsese, why not get somebody that's not so known that maybe can actually sing Frank Sinatra songs? I don't know. I don't mind Leo. Leo's great. He's great. He's one of the best actors out there. I get it. But at the same time, I'm just kind of going like, really? Leo DiCaprio is Frank Sinatra? All right. I guess. But I feel like there could be somebody better. I just feel like there could be somebody better that is like not Leo status. Create a star, not use an existing star. I don't know. That's just me, though. I'm sure he'll knock it out. It'll be good. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Whatever. All right. And that's... Oh, then we got this. Oof. Okay. Oh, this right here. Oh, Henry Cavill. Obviously, Henry Cavill has been doing a lot of talking lately because his movie's coming out this week. And some, obviously there's still like we have a soft spot. We have a little bit of like, damn, Cavill. We wanted him back as Superman and we got him for a brief amount of time, when it came to Black Adam and the whole like, post-credit scene, which was great. I remember, watching Black Adam in the theaters and people cheered, which was great. And it was great seeing him in the costume again. But somebody asked him about that and, the post-credit stuff. And this is what he had to say. Henry Cavill has reflected on the post-credit sequence appearances in his career, including Black Adam's. Turns out I don't have much luck with post-credit scenes, so I may give up on those. It's not your fault, Cavill. It's not your fault. I mean, the only other post-credit was Justice with the whole racing with the Flash and how awful that was, and it was still, yeah. But the Black Adam one was really cool, I will say, but it just sucks that, it's like, yeah, maybe I should stay away with those. It's not your fault, dude. It's not your fault. It is the people involved that's your fault, okay? Okay? It was Warner Brothers, mainly, that was at fault here. We love you as Superman. Don't worry. We would love to see you in more post-credit scenes if that were the case. But it's not your fault. Not your fault. It's Warner Brothers. It's, sadly, it's Joss Whedon's fault for writing that scene. And then, of course, it's Dwayne Johnson who pulled you into that to hopefully get you back. And then that fucked you over again. Yeah, man. Poor Cavill. But hey, he's okay. He's got 2 other franchises that he's doing. He's got a baby on the way. He's fine. He's fine. But yeah, my God. It's not on you, man. Oh, and then we got some controversy. We got some controversy when it comes to Civil War. That's right. What? Civil War got controversy? Yeah, it's already had controversy. Alex Garland's Civil War, which if you're an Alex Garland fan or if you just want something that's unique and different that might be out there right there, go watch Civil War. But don't expect, and this is the thing, this is my theory that's happening right now when it comes to these posters and when it comes to just the marketing in general when it comes to Civil War, because I think what the studio, and it's A24, and you wouldn't think that they were trying to sell the movie like this, but it seems like when it comes to posters and when you actually watch the movie, it's like, oh, you guys are trying to sell more of a Roland Emmerich crazy World War, not World War, but, Civil War movie as opposed to an Alex Garland movie, because you see the posters, you see what they do, and you're like, oh yeah, we're going to watch this movie that has this world of this country event that happens, and we're going to like see like landmarks that are destroyed. We're going to see like wars breaking out. It's like, nope. That's not what it is. I compared it to a Black Mirror episode where, yeah, that world is out there, but you're just going to follow these characters who are journalists trying to get to point A to point B, which is why I said that people were disappointed in the movie. So we have these right here. So we have some posters that were generated by AI. That's the controversy. AI generated posters, which of course, man, like I said, if I post anything that is AI, oh man, my mentions, they start just going, that's AI, how dare you kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I get that. But AI is here to stay, sadly. It's just the way it is. But yeah, and they even show Vegas, and they show the Sphere all fucked up, and they show Vegas all fucked up. It's not a Roland Emmerich movie. You're not going to see any of that. You're going to see the journey of these journalists to go from point A to point B while all this shit is happening. It just seems like they're really trying to push like, oh yeah, let's get people in the seats where they think it's going to be this movie, but it's actually not. It's still a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I was like on the edge of my seat for most of it. I highly suggest seeing it, especially if you're an Alex Garland fan. And you just want to see something that's like, okay, yeah, it is, to me, it is like a long Black Mirror episode. And that's not shitting on it. It's not shitting on it because I love Black Mirror. Because it just felt like that because like with Black Mirror episodes, it's like, okay, here's the near future. Here's like something that dystopian that's happening. And here's these characters that are involved into it. So that's what we're going to do, you know? So that's why I liked it. And of course, you know, watching it, a lot of people just are, too many people are watching Civil War and going like, which side of the political aisle is it against and for, you know? And everybody's trying to be like, oh yeah. And there's people that get pissed about it. Yeah, it wasn't about my side. So I fucked that, you know, because we're so tribal. And, you know, you guys know that I'm politically homeless. I don't subscribe to either side anymore. I always felt that I was very liberal at one point, but it seems like that whole thing has shifted. So, you know, I've been called every name in the book because I don't fully agree with everything that's happening over here. I don't fully agree with everything that's happening over here either. So, yeah. Go watch the movie and just judge for yourself. But if you're going to think that it's going to like subscribe to one of the sides, yeah, you're in for disappointment, I guess you could say. If you think it's going to be a Roland Emmerich, like, oh, we're going to see like these landmarks that are destroyed. Yeah. So that's a little bit misleading. I'm just saying that's misleading right there. Pretty misleading. I'm just saying, like, don't think you're going to go and see like these landmarks and like these crazy, you know, crazy shit that's going to be happening. No, it's very much not that. It's got fantastic cinematography, though, when it comes to the whole movie. And, yeah, there's a lot of intense moments where you're going like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? But, yeah, the ending, yeah, I could see why it disappointed people. To me, I'm like, well, the way that it ends, I go, huh, okay. All right. But just one of those things, man. Anyways. Hey, you can't spell Civil War without AI. Nice one, Jose. Good to see you, buddy. Jacob wanted Cavill's babies, apparently. Hiram Garcia and The Rock wanted to bring him back. Yeah, they wanted to bring him back so then they can get control of DC. No, he was done dirty. No, Eric, he was done dirty, but I will always say he was done dirty by Dwayne Johnson, to be honest. And, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, they should have, yeah, because I think they were trying, again, they were trying to use him to get power over DC, and didn't work. That's pretty much the way I'm looking at it. The only side you should subscribe to is Team Cat. Fuck Iron Man. Oh. Just because I hate him like you guys do doesn't mean I love him. What? Just reading your guys' stuff right here in the past. Yeah, good to see you, Stephanie, too, by the way. And Ben. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the main topics. Let's talk about these main topics right here. Oop. Superman now has Jonathan and Martha Kent. That's right. We have the parents. Thank you for being a member. Yeah, doing pretty good. Talladega Plays. Appreciate you being a member and everything. So awesome. But yeah, guys, we have our Jonathan and Martha Kent. And interesting choices and choices that are just like, okay, all right, that's fine. I don't have any kind of whatever. I mean, it just seems like the discourse out there again is, you know, with Snyder fans that are going like, really? You're going to cast these people when we had this? It's like, what? Are you guys upset that this time around you don't want to bone Martha Kent? Is that what it is? Because let's face it. I think the last Martha Kent, you kind of wanted to, you know, she's good looking. She's pretty good looking. Let's just say that, right? Maybe. And now it's like, oh, now we're going there. And same thing with I mean, come on. I mean, both of them, when it came to the Snyderverse, yeah, they were good. They were good looking, Jonathan and Martha Kent. Now we're gonna go off on a different thing, like right here. It's like, yeah. Sometimes I'm just kind of going like, is that the reason why? You know, now they're gonna go for we're gonna go this way this time, I guess you could say. I don't know. But I'm kind of wondering, like, oh yeah, is that what's happening? Is like because they're not good looking enough? But I'm like, when do they have to be good looking? I guess. But first off, Pruitt Taylor Vince has been cast as Jonathan Kent. Interesting choice. And I'm just kind of going like, all right. The first time I saw him, that I remember seeing him, was the movie Identity, which I enjoyed very, very much. And you guys should watch that movie Identity if you haven't watched it already. Crazy psychological thriller. And I won't spoil the twist that happens at the end. So, okay, so he's Jonathan Kent. Interesting. All right. So we have a bald Jonathan Kent, a little heftier. I don't know what he looks like right now, but I'm like, okay, interesting choice. I was hoping that they were going to go for, I wanted Tim Daly. I wanted Tim Daly to be Jonathan Kent. I was like, man, bring in some of the people that have been associated with Superman. Bring those people in, or whatever the hell, I just was like, well, why not do that? But hey, they're going to choose him. All right. Interesting. Very interesting. And then we have Martha that has also been cast in Superman. And what is her name? I'm trying to see her name. Okay. Neva Howell has been cast as Martha Kent. And I'm like, who is that? I don't know, but here's a video of her that was circulating around that was kind of going like, all right, here's a sense of like Martha Kent.
Oh, there you are. I'm Neva. I like books. Can you tell? The heart of my Poshmark business is treating my customers the way I would like to be treated. And the hustle is doing every single thing I can every single day to help myself and my fellow poshers succeed. This money would really bless me. It would help me to transform my spare bedroom.
All right, we don't have to watch the whole thing, but gives you a sense of what she sounds like and everything like that. So I'm just kind of going like, all right, wholesome. She seems very lovely. And again, I'm watching Superman not for Jonathan and Martha Kent. How much screen time are they going to have? Seems like, okay, we get a sense. She seems like she's perfect. It's like not perfect, but I'm just saying like she seems like very Martha Kent, farmer kind of style. Okay, so when it comes to Pruitt Vince, I'm like going, okay, I'll see what happens with that. All right, I wasn't expecting that. Again, I wanted Tim Daly, and I didn't really think about who I wanted for Martha Kent, but I'm just kind of going like, all right, there you go right there. And yeah, I would say probably when it comes to Superman also, when it comes to this movie, and I saw some people even going like, Jesus Christ, there are like barely any A-listers in this movie. And I'm just kind of going like, okay. And I've seen people post that on Twitter. It's like, there's no A-listers on here. It's like, yeah, I would say like the most notable name is probably Nicholas Hoult. But at the same time, I'm just kind of going like, how is that a bad thing? How is it a bad thing that, yeah, I mean, I get it. The Snyderverse Martha and Jonathan was Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. Two very good-looking people, sure, and two very notable people, like people who are like have names for themselves. I get that. Okay, and they did it, and cool. But we're in a different kind of Superman movie right now. And at the same time, it's like, hey, guess what? They have to save money as much as possible. So they're not going to be like going after like the big A-listers. It's just the way it is. And at the same time, not a bad thing, to be honest. It's like nowadays, names don't sell the movie anymore. They don't. They just don't sell the movie anymore. We've seen this in the past few years. It's like, it sucks. I mean, I think even like what? Tarantino. We're going to be talking about Tarantino. He's even talked about this. It's like at one point, the name on the marquee, the star, used to sell the movie. It's not like that anymore. And when you have these studios struggling, like Warner Brothers has been struggling, yeah, it's not like they're going to like hire like A-lister names, like names that you know of for characters that might not be on screen for more than 5-6 minutes. They're not going to do that. Just not going to do that. I mean, pivotal to the story, of course. But they're not going to just go after like these big names. So I'm just kind of just like open to be like, hey, whatever. If that's the case. She seems like very motherly, very farm, you know. She seems like that. When it comes to Pruitt, I'm just kind of going like, that's an interesting choice because he's been in a lot of things that he just shows up in and he's like an interesting character. His eyes are weird. If you notice, watch his eyes, like in a lot of things. He was in Constantine as well. His eyes, he shifts his eyes like back and forth. His eyes like move a lot when it comes to Pruitt Vince. But, you know, but it's something different. He's going to be bald, or unless they put a hairpiece on him, probably not. But I'm just kind of going like, okay, so we're going to get a bald Jonathan Kent. That's different. You know, when I saw people push back against it, I'm like, well, who's Jonathan Kent supposed to actually look like? And then there's always the question of like, is Jonathan Kent going to be alive during this story right here? And apparently he is going to be alive. He is going to be alive. Hopefully like nobody dies during it. But what I always liked about Lois and Clark was the fact that both parents were alive, and he always would like phone home, and they would be on like they'd be on their landline. This is before cell phones, and he'd be talking to him on the phone, and they both be on the phone, like they'd both be on the phone with Clark talking to him back in Smallville. And I always thought that was kind of cool because I was like, yeah, he's got both parents. He's got both parents. So that's gonna be the next question is like, okay, so I mean, I saw on Twitter, but who knows if that's actually if it's legit. Is Jonathan not dead? It's just not going to be flashbacks. He's going to be very much alive in this one. Wouldn't be surprised if that's what James Gunn is going to be going for. It's like, no, both parents alive. We're not going to do like the heart attack. And of course, what Snyder did was, of course, the whole tornado thing, which, you know, was very divisive. Shocker, you know, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes to all that. But anyway, so that's it when it comes to Superman and those castings. She looks like she'd bake cookies for the Justice League. Yeah, that's a smart idea for a gun to do that. She looks older than Jonathan. Okay. The over-bloated budgets in movies also come from casting. Yeah, exactly. So you can't, yeah, you're not going to get a Diane Lane and a Kevin Costner this time, you know, so. Undertaker showed up in the final boss. Oh, is that right? You're talking wrestling? Brendan Fraser, that would have been interesting too. I know. I wanted Tim Daly. I was just like, give me a Tim Daly, Jonathan Kent, because he's voiced Superman in Superman the Animated Series and other times too in the animated world. I was like, I just want a Jonathan. I want him as Jonathan Kent. I was really just like, can you imagine if that were to happen? But sadly, not exactly the case. But hey, I like seeing yeah, exactly. Unknowns are great. It's great because, I mean, and that's what you have to do now. I mean, again, Hollywood, there's a bubble that is probably bigger than the fucking Sphere in Las Vegas. And Hollywood is just because their shit is just getting so inflated, just like our fucking economy, you know, 6 inches for $6, Subway. But like, you know, so they can't just like go out and just do that. I mean, at one point it's like, yeah, you could have a Kevin Costner and a Diane Lane play Jonathan. I said Thomas. Jonathan and Martha Kent. You could have that at one point and be perfectly okay. And it was awesome. And it was great. In the scenes that Kevin Costner, Scott, I mean, Jesus Christ, what happened in Man of Steel? Oh my God, you are my son. Oh, and the world's too big, Mom. Well, make it smaller. I mean, those scenes were just totally just 100% awesome. And both the actors did a fantastic job, especially Diane Lane, obviously being in the BVS. And, well, I mean, so was Kevin Costner for one scene. And then you heard Kevin Costner's voice in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, it all worked out, and it was all great. But nowadays, you can't do that because budget's too much. But it's also great to be like, hey, we can have some unknown people. All right, that's enough talking about that. Now let's talk about Zack Snyder. Yes. What is Zack Snyder's next movie going to be? Is it going to be Rebel Moon Part 3? Is it going to be Planet of the Dead? No, maybe not. It's going to be something smaller, and that's what we always have been wondering. Is it going to be Fountainhead? Is it going to be The Last Photograph? Is it going to be Horse Latitudes? The dude has so many projects that he wants to do. I don't know. I just wonder, when does he find time to sleep? Sometimes when you're making these big movies and you have ideas for these other movies, this is why when people say like, no, Zack's coming back to DC. No, he does not have fucking time. That is what you want, and you are selfish for wanting him to do that. We want original Zack Snyder content, and I want what he says right here. I want a small Zack Snyder film because I know he has the filmmaking ability, and when it comes to these big, huge movies, yeah, they get divisive, and maybe if he just goes, all right, I've been tackling all these IPs and these crazy big movies with VFX that I have to do, and he's even talked about it many times where it's like, yeah, I have to be over here, the set's over here, and I have to look at monitors and just be like, yeah, that was a good take, talk about over the radio or whatever the hell. Let's get a Zack Snyder movie that is small budget, and we know what he can do. When we saw that his iPhone movie, Steel Iron, whatever the hell it was called, I always forget what the fucking title is, but he filmed that on an iPhone, and that was absolutely glorious. Zack Snyder wants his next movie after Rebel Moon 2 to be a surprise and not a visual effects extravaganza. Oh, that's what we want. If you're a Zack Snyder fan, that is what you want. That is what you want. Illusions is also one of those movies, Zack notes, referring to a muted adaptation of Richard Bach's novel Illusions, The Adventures of I'm totally reading that wrong, Messiah, which Snyder was previously cited as one of his influences. It could be one of those. I don't want to say exactly because it's going to be a bit of a surprise. I really wanted to do something that's not a visual effects extravaganza, just because I'd like to just do something a little grounded. Horse Latitudes is a perfect example of that. It's just more just like a movie we can go film. I know that sounds like, isn't that every movie? But a movie like this, Rebel Moon, there's nothing for free. There's nothing to film unless you build it. So it'd be nice to not have to do that. Reluctant. That's the word I was trying to go for right there. I was like, wait, what is that? Where my brain was like, anyways, it happens. I'm drinking some wine too. That doesn't help. But yes, please. Let's just get some kind of small movie and then show the people out there that are like, yeah, wow, this guy can make something that's not like that. That's what we want right there. And that's what I want. A small, more grounded Zack Snyder film? Absolutely. And I think he's craving that. After all these movies that he's done, these big movies, I think he's just craving something like that. I mean, he's always come up as, especially with commercials, he's always done these big, huge things. Even with commercials, working with like Michael Jordan and stuff like that. And then, of course, with Dawn of the Dead, 300, and all these movies, they've all just been these big, crazy movies in VFX extravaganza, like he just said. But it's like, all right, do something a little bit smaller. Do something different. Challenge yourself, Zack. Challenge. But then we have this. 4 more Rebel Moon movies? Bring it, please. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon franchise expanding to 6 movies in new trilogy approach, says writer. What? Oh my God. Wait, is Dan Lin shitting his pants right now? Did he approve this? Dan Lin? So basically, we have everything mapped out for many, many movies beyond 3, beyond 4. I will go on the record. We figured it out all the way to movie 6. Now, if we are so lucky and fortunate enough to continue telling these stories, that is our hope. Netflix is interested, and we're waiting to see how these first movies go. But there is certainly a treatment for 3 and 4. We've laid out very detailed. All have to do with start writing. Actually, Zack has already started writing because he's like that. Again, that's the way Zack is, always working on something. I think he's already written the first 30 pages of movie 3. So once we get the green light to start writing, if that happens, it'll happen fairly quickly because Shay, Hayden, Zack, and I are pretty fast. And we've done all the work. It's not like, well, what about this? We know exactly what we need to do. This was always going to be a trilogy, and this is well known. We've talked about this in the press already. When we delivered the first movie, it was 200 plus pages. So we were like, oh God. Then we tried cutting it back and blah, 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 blah. So, and then of course, let's move on to, so when I say 6 movies, it's really a trilogy with each movie being 2 parts. That's how we're thinking of it now. But again, a lot of things have to happen. Our ambition and what we want to give the fans don't always match up with the reality of the world's economy. But that's what we want to do. We want to give fans 6 movies or a trilogy in 2 parts each. Dan Lin, you son of a bitch, you better greenlight this. Well, it's all depending on what happens when it comes to this and the director's cuts. And that's what's going to be interesting to see. Is it going to get all greenlit? Because part 3 is not greenlit. It's not greenlit yet. And I told you guys when I went to the screening, I peed next to Dan Lin. I should have looked over at him and said like, hey man, you better greenlight the rest of these movies or I'm going to pee on your shoe right now. Should have threatened him with peeing on his shoe. I didn't. And it's okay. But I'm just, and it kind of I think it kind of worries us all because Dan Lin has said something when he was going for the DC Studios gig not too long ago. He talked about the Snyder fandom and stuff like that. Didn't put him in the greatest light. I don't know. It's all going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. But apparently, yes, they're already putting it out there that they want to make 4 more movies. Good. Because I'll tell you what, when it comes to Rebel Moon 2, guys, you're going to be like, yeah, I need more. You're going to want more. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to leave you wanting more. And then, of course, we got the director's cut, so. What's going on, Axel? Though he was wrong, the website, okay. Doing too much. I know he's doing so much. There's been 0 promo for it, so I doubt they have the confidence in it. Okay. So we're already saying that Rebel Moon's just not going to continue, huh? All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, the thing about this whole thing is like the fact that he's so divisive, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be talking about it, and they're probably going to shit on it. They're probably going to shit on Scargiver. But then, of course, then we're going to have the director's cuts that come. I don't know. It's all just kind of up in the air right now. All right. Let's move on to the movie that's coming out this week. So, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare it's a difficult title to say, but you know, it's a cool title, but it's just a little long, and it, like, you know, you kind of go like, what's it called? But of course, I think a lot of us are looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it. Guy Ritchie, Cavill, ensemble cast. You got Alan Richardson too. It looks like it's just going to be one of those movies where it's like, yeah, it's essentially a Suicide Squad taking on Nazis. It's Guy Ritchie's Inglourious Bastards, essentially, and yeah, after I didn't see Argyle when it came to Henry Cavill and how that movie just kind of flopped and people were shitting on it. I'm glad that Cavill has this one to at least, hey, we're back. Don't forget that Cavill's actually pretty cool, and you know, forget what happened in that movie. Look what happened in this movie right here, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's check out some of these reviews. Of course, we're going to go to the Devil Fruit site because that's just the way it is. Just the way it is. All right. Oop. Okay, here we go. Wow, they changed the website up. All right. Kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, what? Currently sitting at an 81% with 43 reviews based upon recently declassified files of the British War Department and inspired by true events. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Oh, that's a lot right there. I don't need to read all that. Anyways, let's go down. What the hell? They really did switch this website up. Wow. So now I'm just kind of going like, okay, let's go to here. All right. See, a lot of, some positivity here. All right. Let's start off with a bad review. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is Guy Ritchie on autopilot. Whoa. Okay. Tessa right here says Guy Ritchie does a great job of blending together humor and action. However, the movie falters when it comes to pacing. But who doesn't like watching Nazis die? See this on the biggest screen possible. So that was a mixed bag of a review. Okay. Fits comfortably within the wheelhouse of Guy Ritchie's favorite tropes. Witty, devil-may-care, square-jawed heroes inflicting heavy doses of violence while dressed like they're on their way to a fashion mag photo shoot. Okay. The proficiency stage set pieces. Ritchie makes his own case for a bit of class. As a journeyman filmmaker, now pumping out a movie a year, which he is, which is crazy, he's in many ways grown to be a more complete director. Why is that a 2.5 out of 4? That doesn't even make sense. The movie doesn't break the mold, but its charming cast and punchy energy supply the viewer with the timeless draw of watching Nazis receive their due retribution, which never loses appeal. Cavill is a treasure, but when the pacing lags, the undercooked nature of Ritchie's film comes into sharper focus. And let's see, one more bad one right here. It's not without its moments of charm, but Guy Ritchie doesn't seem to know if he wants to make an authentic tribute to World War II heroes or a slick and stylish exploitation movie, ultimately making neither. So it sounds to me like the theme when it comes to what these critics are saying is it's very much a Guy Ritchie film, but at the same time, it's like he was trying. There's going to be elements of where he tries to take the story seriously, but then puts the Guy Ritchie-isms in there, which don't make it so serious. So then maybe it's just the tone is kind of off. That's what I'm gathering from it, but I'm still seeing it tomorrow. Can't wait. And look forward to, of course, my first reaction. I'll post that. Looks like a good time. But yeah, they're selling it as pretty much like a full-on crazy Guy Ritchie movie that has a lot of the crazy elements into it. So hopefully that's the case, because if he was, if the tone is kind of off, that's no good. Man. Quentin Tarantino. What the hell's going on here? Quentin Tarantino. What happened? Oh man, there's going to be a lot more of this story in the future, because we were all shocked today, guys. Shocked. I'm a diehard Quentin Tarantino fan. He's one of my all-time favorite directors, and I was like going like, okay, his next and final movie that he has been saying for a while was going to be about film criticism, because obviously he has dealt with critics his whole career and how they, go after some of the subject matter that happens in his movies, and he's always pushed back against them. So it was natural that Quentin Tarantino's final film was going to be about this very thing. A film critic, and based on things, of course, that have happened to him in his career. But apparently that's not happening anymore, folks. It's not going to happen anymore. Deadline. Here we go. Quentin Tarantino drops The Film Critic as his final film. Ah, no! After all this buildup, man, come on. Sadly. Exclusive! Quentin Tarantino's movies are always full of surprises, and here is one about the movie critic we did not expect. Deadline can reveal that Tarantino has dropped the film as his 10th and final project. He simply changed his mind, Deadline has been told. Tarantino was going to have Brad Pitt as a principal star, which would have marked the third, of course, when it came to Inglourious Basterds and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There were rumors that many from the cast of his past films might take part. Sam Jackson was going to be in it. Travolta probably would have shown up. Uma, yeah. And Sony was preparing to make the film after doing such a superb job on the last one. There was something out there that I said that said that Brad Pitt was going to play Cliff Booth again from Once Upon a Time. I was like, is that what was going to be the case? I don't know. I saw something like that on my feed, but I was like, is that actually a thing? I think THR was like saying something like that. Word is that Tarantino had rewritten the script, which delayed the start of production. But this is his 10th and final film, and Tarantino simply decided the movie critic will not be it. This is the biggest surprise to Tarantino fans since years back when Deadline revealed he had shelved The Hateful Eight after he gave a small group of actors his script, and one of them shared it with the rep. Remember that? The whole thing was like released. I think it got all leaked online and everything. Soon, it had been copied and the rough draft was shared all over town and online. Tarantino felt betrayed, but he eventually returned to the project after staging a reading for a charity and drawing raves for it. As for The Movie Critic, originally planned to be his 10th and final film, Tarantino has simply had a change of heart, and Deadline hears he will not be moving forward with the project. Sources close to the director said he changed his mind and is going back to the drawing board to figure out what the final movie will be. Star Trek? They're supposed to be doing one more Star Trek movie. Remember, he had the whole Star Trek pitch at one point. I doubt that's going to be the case, but so I guess we can't freak out fully yet because, what happened with The Hateful Eight when it got leaked online, and then he was just like, fuck it, everybody knows it, I'm just gonna, fuck it, man, I'm just gonna, I'm trying, that's my Tarantino impression. It's awful, I get it. So, okay, okay. So maybe he'll have a change of heart? I don't know. This is very weird. It's very strange. It's very strange. And yes, Kill Bill sequel, why not end with Kill Bill 3? That could be cool. And you could bring people back when it comes to all that as well. I don't know. I mean, there was always the idea of a Kill Bill 3. When it came to what's-her-name's daughter seeking revenge on the bride. But yeah, shocker. But maybe he'll still do it. I don't know. We'll see. Sucks. Shocker. But Tarantino's a bit of a, he's a little crazy. He's a little bit of a firecracker when it comes to all this. Like I said, when it came to the Hateful Eight stuff, it was like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Now I'm going to do it. So maybe he'll have a change of heart. Hopefully. That's all we could hope for. Just hope for that. All right. There we go when it comes to the topics right there. I'm a big Tarantino fan, and I really hope to see. I wanted to see that movie. His approach on the whole film criticism kind of thing sounded pretty freaking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it sounded pretty awesome. All right, Twitter questions. Let's see here. All right, so Eric, anyone remember when people whined about Aunt May for Tom Holland's Spider-Man being a young hottie that every guy in the MCU wanted to hook up with? Because that's not how Aunt May should be. And now the Jonathan and Martha Kent being elderly like they should. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not everybody I think there's a lot of people that are excited for it, but it's just, again, like when it comes to some of the Snyder fandom, they're just like, what the hell? And it's like, what? It's like the Snyder fandom is kind of the ones that are really, yeah. But it's all good. It's whatever. There's just people that, sadly, the things that we pushed back against 8 years ago when it came to BVS and Man of Steel, now it's just like some of those guys are now being the people that we used to push back to. I mean, it's like I said, it's Harvey Dent's line in The Dark Knight that was saying like you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. And it's like, yeah, now these guys, they absolutely hate James Gunn. And it's like, you don't have to like James Gunn, but it's always funny when I see people that hate him so much talk about him more than I do. And I'm talking about this stuff a lot, like when it comes to streams, when it comes to this. But it just seems like the people that hate him more, just like the people that hate Snyder more, talk about him more than certain Snyder fans. It's like these... I do kind of like it, though, because it's always kind of fun to see like these divisive directors and their takes on certain things and their different styles that draws a hatred in people. I'm like, I don't know what that's like because I don't have any director that I just have a hatred for. But anyways, Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, question number 1. You can only pick one of these characters to appear in The Penguin to build up the Batman Part 2. Batman to warn Penguin or Penguin run into Mr. Freeze, Clayface, or Hush. Jesus Christ. I think I like the whole Silver Age Clayface thing. Number 2, how would you feel if we got this? That would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. We got Venom, Tom Holland, and Kingpin. That would be pretty insane for sure. Devon Wooter, hey Dave, I'm really sick of people hating on Jon and Martha Kent. Who your favorite Bat family characters, and do you think Jeremy Renner will be back for a Mission Impossible 8? And who's your favorite villain from Die Hard movies? For me, it's Jeremy Iron. Okay, well, Jeremy Iron was great, but he played the brother of course, Hans Gruber, which, Alan Rickman was just absolutely amazing. Jeremy Renner should come back in the Mission Impossible franchise. I think he definitely should. Totally think he should. Mr. Nobody, I wonder if Jon and Martha will die. It's just like the pearls from Batman. Some things are overdone. I wonder if Kara Zor-El will show up in the end. She probably will. And Marcelo saying, unmute me. Yeah, well, like I said, sometimes I mute people that are just constantly just like pushing back against some of this shit. And I don't even want to know what this is. This is something that I'm not even going to, it's probably like, I don't know, some kind of bot right there. Yeah, see, that's the funny thing about when I read Twitter stuff, sometimes there are people that I muted that are on there because, yeah, sometimes I'm just like, all right, you're constantly like, just pushing back against things that I'm talking about. So I'm like, I'm going to mute you. I didn't block you, but I muted you. But that, it's not a lot of people, but it's just like when it gets to like just overly done and when it comes to a lot of this shit, I'm just like, But that's just the way it is. That's the way you got to handle your Twitter. Sometimes Twitter just gets way too crazy, but Yeah, tits in bio, pussy in bio. I mean, Jesus Christ, the whole fucking bots epidemic has just been, it gets insane. It gets insane. But, you know, like I said, when it comes to muting, sometimes it's just like when the best thing about Twitter is sometimes, and I will say, one of my favorite features that it has is the fact that I can turn off people's just retweets. Because sometimes people retweet the same news 5 different times from 5 different sources, or they just constantly retweet things that are happening, just constantly retweeting. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like scrolling through and like my whole thing is retweeted by one person. And sometimes it's the same goddamn thing. So you have a feature that turns off their retweets unless they actually do a quote tweet, which they actually say something, which I'm like, okay, fine. You actually say something? Cool. But man, there was just like people I were following that were just retweeting. Like there'd be some news that happened in something. I don't care if it was movies, games, whatever the hell. It's like they're retweeting the same news from like 5 or 6 different sources. It's like, you don't need to do that. One time is enough. One time is enough. So yeah, there's been times where I had to like go, all right, I'm going to turn off your retweets because yeah, you're constantly just doing that. But if you actually have something to say about it, when it comes to a quote tweet, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So I like that function. Bussy and just comes to show, just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you're smart. Oh, I think Elon Musk is pretty damn smart. I mean, you can hate him all you want, but I think the guy's probably smarter than all of our brains put together for sure. But but Twitter's the wild, wild west. It definitely is. And I don't agree with all the decisions that, of course, he made with that, but you know, it's all pretty interesting. But at least, you know, the way I look at it, I kind of find it funny that it's like the wild, wild west when it comes to all the stuff. Because I'm like, why not let it be the wild, wild west? Let it be absolutely crazy. You know, it should be, you know, if we're going to be free speech, let the free speech roam, I guess you could say. But yeah. Dave muted, now eating rice. Yeah, well, you know. Like I said, there are people that treat Twitter like their own. Like sometimes I just gotta be like, who are you talking to right now? I mean, who are you talking to? I mean, are you talking to somebody specifically? What are you doing? I don't know. Social media is interesting. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up. And make sure you guys subscribe, do all this. And yeah, there you go. Ryan said it right. Smart man, dumb choices. I agree to that. Like, he's smart, but he's made some dumb choices when it comes to certain things, but we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll be the next Lex Luthor. He'll be actually the Lex Luthor. That also scares me too about that guy. All right, guys. Yeah, do all that. If you want to become a member and be part of the members only stream, we're going to do it right after this. So look forward to that on your feed, guys. Anybody who's going to be taking part of that. And of course, I'll see you guys on Friday's vodka stream, who I won't be talking to, of course, in the members only stream. Should be a good one. Hopefully we can get a special guest. And, you know, we'll be pushing some charity. We'll be talking about Rebel Moon. We'll be doing all that. So, members, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Everybody else, I'll see you on Friday. So, love ya. Talk to you later.